none of which I will apologise for. I hope you're all well. 17 watching currently. Henron, what are you saying? I hope you are good. And here, in anticipation for a half decent Bahrain Grand Prix. I hope you guys can all see me. We've got metrics up in the background. I've got my Sky Go going on, and Rachel Brooks is talking to Lando Norris, and hopefully we're going to have an interesting race. But I'm not holding my breath. Listen, Max Verstappen in his pomp is going to be hard to beat, isn't he? That sadly, peddlers, for all concerned, is the honest truth. Do me a favour, smash a like, por favor, to enable the YouTube algorithm to know that we're not out here talking nonsense. Well, at least not sometimes. Sometimes a bit of nonsense. Sometimes. Can you guys all hear me? Drop me a cheeky one in the chat if you can hear me nice and clearly. Henron, good afternoon. Russ, I bet the RB20's DRS has some kick again. Well, you guys have seen, right? You will notice that in the speed trap, 327, I think from memory, was Max Verstappen's number. And the rest were like 321. So he has this massive delta. What's going on, Jomo? Let's go. Let's go. First race. I should be more optimistic and positive about this than I am, right? Been a bit negative. What's going on, Byron? Thank you so much for confirming. Mike checking me as we take a look back at quali. So go on and let's talk about quali very quickly as we are. Oh, we're looking back at previous year's race. Do you guys remember this? Check my maths here. I remember a couple of years ago, I feel like it was here, it wasn't Saudi, when Charles Leclerc gave Max Verstappen fits. Do you guys remember that? Was this the DRS chicken race? Charles Leclerc's, he's so good. He's so good, is Charles Leclerc. His natural ability, he's like Lewis back in the day as far as his potential upside. Like his ceiling is so bloody high, and that's why I get frustrated with him. Here's why I was frustrated with him yesterday, and here's why I made the video. I've been feeling this way about Charles Leclerc for a very, very long time. He's one of the best on the grid. That's irrefutable. You can't even argue against Charles Leclerc in that sense. However, you kind of got to get it done right. Potential is like, it's not even worth the paper that it's written on. Get it done, Charles Leclerc. If you're that good, then execute. And yesterday for me was a case in point, reminiscent of Brazil a couple of years back, that qualifying session. Do you remember when they put the inters on and it wasn't even raining, and only after the fact? What's going on, Leash? Thank you so much. Leash. I want to say Leash, me getting my Birmingham on, but I will say Lesh. Correct me. Thank you so much for becoming a member. If you want to become a member, the link, of course, is in the chat. So it's pinned. Nice as let's go. Watching from Trinidad and Tobago. Let's go. You know what? It fills me with... It makes my heart warm to know that you guys are tuning into this around the world. One day, hopefully, I'll be able to stream this properly live with footage when the FOM get on board the Cameron F1 train. But we're not holding back. Let me talk to this Charles Leclerc thing first for the avoidance of doubt, because I feel like I misconstrued this point ever so slightly. He's a god tier peddler. As we get a vista of George Russell, we are T-minus 9 minutes away from a race start. I'm sorry, but I wish it was 2025. Yeah, you know what? You make a good point there, Ahmad. You make a brilliant point there. Go on, let me get this Charles Leclerc thing off my chest here, because my guys have been giving me a bit of stick. Leash. Let's go, Leash. Thank you so much for becoming a member. I will remember that, of course. Right. I hate mispronounce. That's my OCD flaring up there. I hate mispronunciation. Just can't do it. I feel like it's commensurate with poor education, and we don't do that on the Cameron F1 channel. But let me get this Charles Leclerc thing off my chest so that we can enjoy a fantastic race going forward, lest I have to mention it again, unless he makes a mistake, which he's got in his locker. What's going on, Foster? Christina, what's going on? Thank you so much. I know this is going to be a big year. I'm going to put the work in finally. What I'm determined not to do is lose time courtesy of a lack of industry. Harder, just turn up every day, right? That's the goal for this year. Just turn up every day and do the best that we can, which is exactly what Charles Leclerc, for me, in my humble opinion, isn't doing. Each and every single time he kind of leaves bits on the table. And here's my criticism, right? Listen, these guys will all make mistakes. Nobody bats 1,000 apart from Max Verstappen. in 2022, 23 and 24. Very rarely does that chap make mistakes. And for that, you've got to give him credit, right? Super hard to beat that chap. Conversely, Charles Leclerc makes it very easy to beat him. The modus operandi to win the Bahrain Grand Prix, if Max Verstappen is competing, which he is to qualify in front of him. You had the machinery yesterday, Charles, to do that. Your sectors, if you look at the perfect sectors, that the best sectors across different laps, he absolutely had that in his locker. Like, what are we doing? He did the pole lap in Q2. Oh, it's frustrating, mate. And that's not even to say that he could have nailed it. Like, who knows what would have happened, eh? Who knows what would have happened? This is all hypothesis and conjecture and speculation. Maybe Charles puts it on pole and Max Verstappen takes his lunch money into turn one, as he's been doing. But you just can't, like, give yourself the best opportunity. If you are great, Charles Leclerc, and any one of those other guys on the grid, then you just got to execute right. Can't afford to. Missed opportunity is not a currency we can trade in 2024. If any one of us have hopes of beating Max Verstappen, he doesn't make mistakes and he doesn't drop the ball too often. Go Charles Leclerc. Surely, mate, you can put it on pole. You could have done the lap. You did the lap in Q2, hence why I was a bit frustrated. But I digress. Perpetual, great name, says, are you going to continue supporting Mercedes or Ferrari? F1 for me, Perpetual, has always been a bit of an individual sport. Teams back in the day, like the Dayglow McLaren was, yeah, I like the look of the car, but kind of I'd move with drivers, as disloyal as that sounds. I'll be back in. Listen, if Lewis rocked up today in a Toro Rosso, FAKA AlphaTauri, now known as Visa Cash App RB, then I would back Lewis Hamilton in that car each and every single time. Charles says Foster is too inconsistent. Absolutely. Vinny, I'm going to have words with you, Vinny. Vinny, me and you's going to have words today. No, Vinny, listen, it's all love. And that's what I say that to Vinny because me and Vinny have been going back and forth in the comments. Vinny doesn't hesitate to call me out on some of my bull feathers. But this, in earnest, let me say this honest and look down the camera when I'm saying this. This is what the channel's for. Like, I want to create a space where we can have a heated debate and where you can tell me, Cameron, what do you want about? Stop with this Charles nonsense. And then I'll come back and say, well, listen, the reason why I'm talking all this stuff about Charles Leclerc is because I believe he's that good. And I'm desperate for him to stop making mistakes and cultivate a competitive championship. Vinny, me and you's going to have words, mate. Telling you, Vinny. Charles is a Rosberg, not a Max or a Lewis, says Vinny. Well, listen, his story is one that's been written in real time, right? And I said that about Charles Leclerc. We don't know, and I am overly critical of him, but I'm only that critical. It's love. It's oh, Vinny, right back at you, mate. Honestly, it's I enjoy the back and forth. Although it does, you kill me sometimes. You go hard, Vinny, but again, this is what we're here to do. Jerry, good day. I hope you're all well. Do me a favour and smash the like, por favor, because we're looking to tell the YouTube algorithm that we're adding value over here on the Cameron F1 channel. Kareem says, why does Max look so fit compared to last year? Kareem, look, this is the insightful stuff that we notice and that we've got to talk about, right? Because he does look extra fit. And I mean, that's a credit to the man, right? As we're T-4 away from a Bahrain Grand Prix race start. I mean, look at Max's... Have you seen Max's jawline? Holy smoke. Max's jawline wasn't as protruding as that last year. He's gone away and he's kind of upped the ante, right? And that's what champions do. Do you know what I mean? Lenny, let's go, Lenny. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the Cameron F1 channel. Appreciate you each and every single time. And the link is in. If you want to become a member and support the channel, then of course you guys are entitled to and desperately that stuff is appreciated. Thank you so much, Lenny. Vinny, you have a platform, mate. Just try to remind you, your voice is much bigger than mine. Vinny, but it's not. Genuinely, Vinny, I'm just one man with a noddy platform that has 18,000 subscribers. Thanks to each and every single one of you. But I'm gonna sometimes get a bit opinionated. What's he on about? Opinionated. Yeah, good start, Cameron. What's all this overly verbose vocabulary stuff that you're talking and you can't even say opinionated? There we go. We got it out in the end. So I'm gonna, and most of it will be evidence based. Sometimes I'll be wrong. Sometimes you guys will have to check me and correct me. But you know what? It's all in the name of love for F1. I promise. Props to Carlos Sainz, ex-trainer, for that. Kareem, I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Kareem, I'm gonna say. Yeah, I hear you. Kind of want for these guys. I wanted for these guys to come back ready and be like, right, Max Verstappen is a behemoth in 2024 and has been for the past 24 months. And if we're going to stand the chance of usurping that dude, of climbing that Max Verstappen mountain, then we're going to have to come to get it. Like, you're going to have to bring it, minimize the unforced errors, get fit as a fiddle in the off season. Nail your technique and your drive. It's super fingertippy, as Peter Wins always says, on the steering, and just, you know what I mean? That we're making mistakes and missing opportunities so early into the 2024 season fills me a little bit with woe and dread. But I digress. Have you guys seen Jerry Horner rocking up with Christian? Jerry Horner is the wife and woman that we all need in our lives. God bless her. Like, I mean, that takes some gall to rock up with Horner after all of the furore and what we've seen over the past 3 or 4 weeks. To do that in front of the world's press and media is like, I mean, come on. Like, shout out to Jerry Horner massively there. 97 if you're watching Coney, do me a favour, smash the like. Henron says, Cam, I think Charles pushes himself too hard and overdrive. Henron, I think you're onto something there. Gilles Villeneuve, Charles Leclerc is reminiscent of for me. And he's just got to, like, there's a time to, like, oh, he's so frustrated. Oh, I can't take it. He's so good and so bad in the same sentence. It's like, come on. Like, I mean, come on, Charles. Right, these guys are on a hot lap, and I need to make sure that I've got my metrics up here. Let me get a cheeky poll out. Right. Can anybody challenge Max for the dub? You guys let me know in the poll. I'm not sure. I looked at Max's odds before. Oh, and by the way, what we're looking out for is going to be techie around turns 8. Like, that middle sector is going to get very techie because, again, these guys are warding off this deck. I know it's night, and I know, as versus last year, that temperatures have climbed down ever so slightly, but still, tyre deg is going to be an issue around here. Most of these bods, I think, are starting on a soft. It will be a 2-stopper. They will change anywhere between lap 14 and lap 20 circa for potentially a set of hard tyres, and then another set of softs to end the race. But these guys are going to have to manage tyre deg. What we're all looking at for the discerning amongst us is how this Ferrari... Okay, so turn 1's going to be critical, right? Careful, Charles. You're not allowed to overtake Max on the formation lap. Do you remember when Michael Schumacher did that at Silverstone in like 1996? I'll never forgive him for that when he just flew past Damon Hill on the formation lap. Thankfully for everyone concerned, he did get a cheeky penalty. I hated Michael Schumacher for that. I was like, why are you overtaking him? Come on, Sedan. I'm also so pumped. I'm a little bit behind you on my screen, so for the sadists amongst you, you'll see me reacting a couple seconds after the fact, but you know what? It's all in the name of love. Soft tyres for 16 laps, say Sky Sports F1. Hard for a further 24, and then 17 further laps on soft to the finish. Or they could do soft, hard. I don't think none of them will do that. Soft tyres, of course, give you that additional grip. This is why most of them are starting, if not all of them, to be fair, are starting on them. Need that super grip to try and make up some places into turn 1 or on the first lap. I will be interested to see Charles Leclerc and how he manages this into turn 1. Because Charles, again, I don't want to get riffy on Charles, but this is the story of the race, right? Charles has a history of being a bit meek and mild when it comes to Max Verstappen. I was talking to a friend earlier, a mate who I started up this channel with, by the way. Good shout out to Guy, if he's watching. And it's really hard at this point. Max has got himself into a pattern of winning, and more pertinently, got himself into a pattern of beating Charles Leclerc. And so Charles almost has to unlearn that pattern of behaviour from Max Verstappen's perspective. You'll see Max will just be super bullish with him. And even, by the way, this is where the question comes in. Historically, over the past couple of seasons, even if Max gets beat into turn one by Charles. He just bides his time, right? Because he knows that that Ferrari historically has been a bit of a tyre eater, like that it can't last. I miss Seb, says you, man. Well, there is conversations, right? Toto Wolff came out today and I think he's been talking to autosport.com as we ran third base on the formation lap, and it sounds like he's debating whether you want to go super young or whether you want to optimize for the now and pick a Sebastian Vettel or a Fernando Alonso for that seat in 2025 that Lewis Hamilton is vacated. Okay, we're rounding off fourth base on the formation lap and I'm nervous, guys. Oh my gosh, my hands, everything is gone. No, it's too cold in it. Alexa, set heat to 25. I don't know what I'm talking about. Thank you, Alexa. Right, let's go. Got ourselves a race on our hands, and learning is hard, mate. Sudan, I hear you. And learning is absolutely hard. Right, these guys are, we are rounding off a formation lap, and these guys are about to go. They're ready, steady, Freddy, and we're about to start the first race of the 2024 season, and I'm here for it, and moreover, I'm here for some competition. Come on then. Come on then, Charles. Is Charles angled? Critical to... I don't... Max hasn't even angled over towards Charles. We are a couple seconds away from a race start, and I'm nervous as fudge. Holy smoke. Right, come on then. Let's be having you, Charles. Let's go, mate. Game time. Into turn one. Charles is angled. Verstappen has angled over to Charles. We are five lights. And it's lights out and away we go to Still Crofty. Max Verstappen's got a decent start, but Charles also goes really, really well. Oh, he slipped in behind him. Charles is onto it. Charles run for the outside. That's the wrong move. You've got no chance going around the outside of Max Verstappen. Oh, fudge. No. Max Verstappen has made it into turn one. We've got melee at the back between an Aston Martin and somebody else. Charles Leclerc tried a ting around the outside, but we all know that that doesn't work on Max Verstappen. It's not going to work. Oh, fudge cake. It's never going to work. Charles, don't go around the outside of Max Verstappen lest you wish to get hung out to dry. Right, 57 laps to go as these guys are settling in. Alonso's having a cheeky nibble of Carlos Sainz Jr., who's further back. He's out of position, isn't he? A bit further back than yellow flag. First race, but Lewis is now starting to look vulnerable, says Lenny, and human. Oh my gosh, Lenny, we're going to have to talk about that in short order, aren't we? Max Verstappen already gapping the rest of the field. Looks like he's bridging. Remember, I think after 2 laps this year, DRS opens, hence why Verstappen's getting a wriggle on, right? Going down, gapping Charles Leclerc with some sort of urgency. Lenny says Lewis is looking human. Blimey, I'm just glad to live in a time to see some of the greatest to ever do it in their sport, from Messi to Lewis. Amen to that. To LeBron as well. I will address the Lewis stuff shortly. Well, let's see. I suppose we're going to have to watch this race to see exactly how much his car was set up for race pace. It's very, very techie, this. Very, very techie. And I've talked about Lewis, and anyway, do you know what? We'll talk about Lewis, I promise. It will rear its ugly head at some point, the subjective topic of Lewis Hamilton, as we are getting some racing down the pack as Logan tries to line up a move on Danny Rick again. Like Crofty said, nothing doing. Oh, this is techie. All right, quick roll call. Verstappen holds off Charles Leclerc into turn one. Russell, Perez, Sainz, he pretty much as he were, top 5. Fernando Alonso having a cheeky nibble up the inside of Carlos Sainz Jr. Then Lando Norris in 7th, Piastri, Lewis, Tsunoda. We have a Haas already in getting our Nico Hulkenberg has received damage. So it must have been Nico Hulkenberg and Lance Stroll in a cheeky incident. It looks like he's gotten a new wing. Bless Nico Hulkenberg, especially since he was probably driver of the day yesterday, putting that Haas on 5th or 6th from memory. And again, outperforming massively, right? Fair play to Nico Hulkenberg, but probably could have even gone better had he used an extra set of softs. Might want to use those today. It will be interesting. 125 of you watching concurrently. Do me a favour, can you guys see this? Right, let me get my studio on to make sure you guys can see proper stuff. Right. Okay, you guys can see. Right. I love when Brundle gets onto this one now and starts talking about racing instinct. Right, you guys can see. Okay, so we've got intervals. Right, we've got gaps and intervals. Boom, let's go. Lando Norris has made a move on Juan Fernando Alonso. Bloody Nora, who's that? Is that George Russell? Oh my gosh! Let's go, George! You see, I told you that George has come to get it each and every single time. Listen, whatever you want to say about Lewis and George, there is acrimony there and there is beef. Clearly, they're not getting along at the moment, courtesy of their comments before the world's media. But George has come to get it this year, and that's why I'm here for. I'm rapidly becoming. He's going to become my second favourite driver. Is George? Not messing about, man. Let's get after it. Now Max Verstappen now, and it looks like Mercedes looked very racy early on in the Bahrain Grand Prix, and I'm here for it, peddlers. Let's go. Yeah, Sedan, I'm here for that. Georgie boy feeling himself and Lewis's decide, Monsieur, like, I mean, this is the source of the beef. I mean, if it works, then it works. But I think George was keen to make sure that the press knew the direction of the design philosophy, that he wasn't the driver, no pun intended, behind it. Verstappen leads, one George Russell leads Charles Leclerc Perez. That was a nice move. Let's go, George. What are the Lewis evangelists going to say now that George has come and he's not come to play? Bloody Nora. Let's go. George is on the move, isn't he? Right. Oh, tasty. I don't mind that. Go on then. All eyes on the delta between Max Verstappen and George Russell. 1.9 or 2 seconds is it currently. Charles Leclerc still in DRS zone. That's going to be a bit techie, isn't it? Let's say Hulkenberg's rejoined at the back. Lance Stroll, Bottas, Gasly, Ocon. Oh my God, Alpine are really taking up the rear, aren't they? What an absolute joke is Albon. Martin Brother remarks that Lewis is taking tremendous speed into the corner. The inference being that Mercedes, for the first time in 3 years, may or may not have designed themselves a car. Lewis has said actually before the world's press that he feels like this is a new feeling that they've, and I quote, given us a car that we can fight with. Let's go. I'm here for that. What else are we doing? F1 is ridiculously good when it's fighty, when there's friction, when it's uncertain, not when... Listen, of course there's redeeming feature when Max is winning every race. By the way, there is a stat. Max has won 19 of the past 22 races. Like, I mean, let me read it. I wrote it down deliberately when I heard them read it out on the BBC Sport. Max has won 44 of the last 66 races, 19 of the last 22. I mean, what are we doing here? You can't... Don't come to play. This is not a rehearsal. There are no do-overs in this. When I'm talking here in imperative terms, I'm talking to the other 19 of them on the grid. Charles Leclerc, Lewis, George included. Oof, oof, oof. Bumper cars into turn one. Just see the replay. Oh my goodness. They like, what are we doing here? Bottas. Oh my God. Just in Charles' lockup. That again. Oh, what is Charles doing? He's struggling, isn't he? Bless him. The Monegasque is it looks a bit skitty in race trim, does that Ferrari. Struggling to hold off one. Checo Perez. Oh, look at that. Checo Perez is the meat in a Ferrari sandwich. Oh, go on then. All like, oh, Max Verstappen's pulling away. Doesn't look like we've got a race for first, but it's techie between the rest of them. Again, qualifying, there wasn't much between second and ninth. Circa 0.3 tenths. So throw a blanket over the rest of them, just not the Red Bull in the hands of one Max Verstappen, and that's crazy, eh? What a save from Lance. Yeah, no, listen, I saw it. Bonkers. Go on then. We've got Carlos Sainz clipping, so he's recharging his battery. Again, cheeky roll call. Max Verstappen leads from George Russell, Leclerc, Perez, Sainz, Lando Norris, Piastri, Alonso, Lewis and Tsunoda rounds out your top 10 of this, the first race of your 2024 season. Oh, what's going on, Bert? I hope you guys are well, man. Like, this is I'm excited. I just want to have a good race. Matt's taking away my hopes. Sedan, what else did we expect? I checked the odds before the racing. There's a massive odds on favourite. It's something like 15 to 8. Circa 71% chance of winning this race. Did the odds makers give one Max Verstappen? And that is crazy, as we are 5 laps into a 57 lap race, or 6 laps even, 52 laps remaining. So circa, I want to say lap 14 to 20, I expect these guys, that's going to be your pit window. Oof, that's a very sexy overtake from Oscar Piastri into turn 1 on one Fernando Alonso. Interestingly, Fernando's struggling as well, isn't he? What's going on there? He looked so good in quali. This is the old paradox of quali pace versus race pace, and trying to get them to translate. The two should, you want a 1 for 1, the two of them, right? And this is what Red Bull have nailed so successfully. Sadly for the rest, and continue to nail. Bloody Nora. All right, let's have a look. What are the old plot lines here? All of them on soft, by the way, apart from Hulkenberg, who's pitted since. Norris told we are going plan B. Well, you're going to have to... Yeah, so I think that means... Speculate. What does plan B mean for McLaren? Potentially a stop for hards again, maybe? I don't know. Again, I reckon there might be a safety car. I should have checked out the probability of safety car, but I think it'd be fairly high around here. Historically, I'm guessing that there will be a safety car at some point. Ergo, you want to make plans accordingly, eh? You want to factor that in. Do you want to go a bit long? Go deep into like lap 25 or 30? Will your soft tyres hang on? What will degradation be saying around this track this year? It's all... Crofty just said it right. Unsure. Max Verstappen leads from George Russell, who's nailed Carlos Sainz on the radio. I have more pace than the guys in front. Well, you got to make it happen, eh, Carlos? Okay, good to know. Says Carlos is Sainz race engineer. Well, make it happen, Carlos. We are racing. This is motor racing. If you need to overtake, remember, Checo Perez in front of you isn't on your team. He has agenda. Oh, James. Oh, there we go. Oh, Sergio on Charles Leclerc. As you would expect. Bloody Nora. That Red Bull in race trim is something else, isn't it? Making my eyes water again. Holy smokes. He's a sitting duck, Sedan. Absolutely. Charles Leclerc is just getting passed up. What's going on? Is he about to get passed up by Carlos Sainz, though? That's the... So they're going to have to make a call, aren't they, Ferrari? If Carlos Sainz has more race pace, then let him by. Falling like a stone is Charles Leclerc. Exactly, and Martin Brundle's just made the pace. At some point, Ferrari need to make a decision and just let Carlos have a go. Chooch! Moderator extraordinaire, how are you guys doing? I need some more mods, by the way, guys. If you fancy being a moderator for the channel, not that that entails much, but just, you know, just making sure there are no rogue entrants. Vinny, what's going on at Ferrari? I think what's going on at Ferrari, Vinny, is the age-old narrative that they are super quick pace setters in quali trim, but that doesn't translate to race pace. I feel like they do a really bad job of managing their tyres and managing the deg accordingly. Max was lapping 136.6. I saw you, man. Shout out to my guy Peter Windsor who put that up on his Bahrain quali preview video. 136.6. Max's, that was, I think, Max in FP2. He was just super consistent. So listen, if you're consistently quick in your race simulation in FP2, then it's going to be a bit of a struggle for the rest to deal with you. Hassan, something is wrong with Charles Ferrari. It's got to be. Let's have a look. Let me see. And by the way, guys, if you like these metrics and stats, this broadcast is brought to you by Multiviewer Legends. Download that app. It's superb. And again, it kind of enhances your viewing experience, gives me all the data that I need. Let's see what Charles... Let me see if I can get some... let me see if I can get some Charles info going on here. I want to see if Charles is saying anything on the radio. And again, you can do that with Multiview. You can get the team radio up. Carlos Sainz has said something. Charles very silent though. Nothing from Charles currently. All right, let's have a look. We'll keep an eye on that. Oh, as Carlos Sainz looking to make it stick on his teammate Charles Leclerc. No, not from there, Charles. You're too far. Carlos, you're too far back, sir. You are too far back. They're going to have to make a call, aren't they, here, Ferrari? Carlos is quicker than you. One of those Rob Smedley ones, I think, imminently. He's locked up again, Michael. He's struggling, isn't he? Maybe. Should we get our speculation on? Maybe Charles has fallen foul of the very same strategy that Lewis has implemented. Maybe they've set that car up. They've placed all their eggs in put it on pole basket. And now he's struggling with tired egg and his car's not optimised for a race circumstance. You've got to let him go, Charles. Ferrari, make a call, sir. But then this is, look at this again. You've got another paradox here. Kimmy, what's going on? Commercials. Chim, sorry, I've been super aggressive with the commercials. I apologise. You guys let me know if they're happening a bit too often. But I don't know. We've got to pay bills here on the Cameron F1 channel, you know, sometimes. Just premium it, Chim Kimmy. Or have you guys heard of Brave Browser? I shouldn't. Why am I saying about? Right, stop it, Cameron. Brave Browser is really good for exploring the internet. Chooch, please hit the channel by smashing the like. Exactly that, Chooch. Let's go. Oh, Lewis on Fernando Alonso. Let's go. Let's go. Lewis Hamilton up into 8th position, and I don't hate that. How about that race optimized Mercedes? Let's get after it, Lewis. Oh my gosh, is Fernando coming? No, Fernando looked like he was going to have another go back at Hassan. Yes, Lewis for the overtake. Let's go. Easy overtake. Maybe Lewis has made a good call in optimizing for race pace, hey? Ugh, maybe. I don't hate that. Looks very racy as we get Logan retiring. Oh, bless him. Go on, let's see if we can get some Oscar Piastri on the radio. Let's have a listen. Oh my God, Oscar told this pace is good. You're faster than Lando and the Ferraris have had. Hold on a second then. Oscar Piastri's race engineer. What are we going to do with... What are we going to do when he... Okay, so he's 2 seconds away yet, but Lando might want to get a move on. Danny Rick on the radio. Oh. Danny Rick on the radio. So told that somebody ahead has a critical cooling issue. Oscar again on the radio. Oscar was informed we just want to use whatever pace you have now. Told to go max pace. Let's go. 146 if you watch. Oh my gosh, Carlos Sainz Jr. on Charles Leclerc. Get out of the way, Charles. What are you doing, Charles? Mate, get out of the way, Charles. Charles is not happy, is he? Charles was not conforming to those team orders. Not at all. Vámonos, monsieur. Vámonos, Carlos. Sainz isn't going to listen to any team orders this year. Why would he, Vinny? I mean, team orders even a thing when he's been treated how he's been treated. I mean, bloody Nora. I wouldn't. And they're going to, similarly with Lewis, and this is going to be the narrative. Everyone's tuning in to see how these guys interact. Namely, Lewis and George and Carlos and Charles. Carlos has got a point to prove, hasn't he? Carlito. And you know what? Let me say for the avoidance of doubt, Carlos is everything that Charles doesn't have as far as his race savvy and intelligence. Carlos has in buckets. And look, I was arguing with Shez and Baxter about this the other day. If you look at the last three, my memory doesn't serve me very well. And I was thinking about, I just presumed that Charles had mollywopped Carlos Sainz Jr. 3 out of 3 seasons. And that's not the case. But for a drain, a dodgy Las Vegas drain, Carlos would have beaten, in all probability, Charles Leclerc 2 out of 3 seasons to date. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, give Carlos Sainz some props. He's the odd man out in this, but I feel like he's been disrespected. We have George Russell radio. Plan A, says George Russell. That to me means that he's feeling quite good with these tyres. Oh, we've got pits. Yeah. So sorry, Plan A. What am I talking about? Feeling quite good with these tyres. So he wanted to come in and change, right? I think they've gone for hards. George Russell's gone early. Holy smoke. Very, very bullish on that. We've got Oscar Piastri messages. Oh, so that's an old message. Oh, Oscar's talking about, it's okay. Oscar's engineer saying that we need to keep extending the gap to Oscar. Another Ferrari-ish top. Oh, Hassan standard. Although, saying that, they were quite decent. I got to give them props. They weren't bad on stops last year. They were all right. They'd improve them. You know, Frederick Vasseur made sure. Who's come in now? So Georgie Russell's come in for a set of... What's George come in for? George has come in for a set of... I can't read this multi-viewer. I need to sort out the stats my end. Sorry, he's on hards, isn't he? Leclerc come in for a set of hards. Zhou, Stroll, Magnussen, Ocon, Hulkenberg, similarly. Okay, all right. Come on, let's go. 151 of you watching concurrently. Do me a favour and watch a like as we try to unpick the narrative that is the Bahrain Grand Prix. Techie. So as anticipated, most of the leaders are coming in, barring one Max Verstappen A. Oh, here he is. Oh no, this is Sergio. Checo Perez. All eyes on the clock. Decent stop from Red Bull. What else would you expect at this rate? Do you know, I noticed in the pits, every time a Red Bull car pulls in, they practice. And you'd expect all of them to do that. But I looked up and down the grid yesterday and no one else was practicing. Every time Red Bull, a car comes in, regardless of the session, they practice. They get in their deliberate practice. And that for me is indicative of enduring champions. Brundle's talking about the hard compound tyres not working very well. And we have... All right, plan A. Georgie saying plan A. Lando Norris yet to stop yet. Going long. There we go. Oof. What's Charles doing? This is really messy from Charles Leclerc. He's properly struggling, is he? I mean, mistakes and all, but he's been just super scrappy. He was scrappy off the start. Scrappy with Charles. Locking up brakes. I think he's really struggling with the handling dynamic of that car, to be honest. Max 12 seconds late. Sedan, you said it. Look at that. Holy smoke. Just is he trying to like make a pit stop versus Carl? Not that he needs to, but you know what I mean? Charles looking up new tyre, bloody locking up the new tyres, Joe. I agree with you. It's bonkers. What are we doing here? I mean, always like Science's style, says Derek. Here we go. We've got a pit stop. Lando Norris has come in for a set of hard tyres. Let's see where he comes out. Again, remember, these guys ideally you want to come out in clean air, right? You don't want to be het up with traffic. And Lando Norris looks like they've slotted him to a decent place with a lot of clean air in front of him. Oh, Checo Perez having a word with George Russell. Let's go. I don't mind this at all. Overtaking settings. Oh, Checo Perez with DRS. Let's go, George. This is what we're talking about. Oh, George has run wide. Don't speak too soon, Cameron. Oh, fudge. He's gone too hard, hasn't he? George has gone a bit aggressive on the brakes and overcooked it and left the door wide open to Checo Perez. Easy. So who's this chap? This aggressive Checo Perez fella? Where's he been all my life for the past 3 years? I like Carlos' evaluation. More tenacious, drummer. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cheeks Max running away. Here we go. 2-0. Yeah, no, he's 2-0-2-4. Oh my gosh. One of these guys, that's a decent move from Checo Perez. He set him up nicely. Chewed his food in George Russell before he swallowed it. I don't hate that. 1:35.6 gone. And let me have a look at these times. Best lap currently, Max Verstappen. Who else is in and around that level? 1:30. Oh, there we go. Purples. Let's go. Let's go, Checo Perez. Super racy on those hard. 1:35.6. Oof. Holy smoke. He's blazing a trail on those hard, isn't he? Go on then. Who's coming into the pits now? Lewis Hamilton checking out. We have a Ferrari. This must be science. Oh my gosh. Charles Leclerc's gone through on Carlos Sainz. How's that worked? Wow. Charles Leclerc pulled the undercut on his teammate. That's bonkers, guys. So the undercut is a thing around Bahrain, the Bahrain International Circuit, Sakir. Charles Leclerc says he can't get out of front locking. He's locking up everywhere. So does this speak? You guys cast your memories back to last year. Do you remember there were a couple of races when Charles Leclerc experienced difficulty with his front end? Just couldn't get it to work. And they never ever found out. The due diligence didn't give any outcomes. Never ever got to the bottom of what was causing that. Here's hoping that this year Scuderia Ferrari have. But it doesn't seem like it, does it? If Charles keeps locking up. And the brilliant driver that he is. But I mean, he's struggling. Super skittish around here. Go on, Charles Leclerc message. Oh my gosh, Charles says, I just cannot get out of front locking everywhere. Lewis Hamilton radio. Can't hear him. Can I get the licks to charge it? I can't hear you, Lewis. Oh, right. So they're talking to Lewis about what mode to go in. He's been told that that's the best mode. Called it, Hassan. Mate, it's not good, is it? With Charles Leclerc, Lewis's pace is terrible. Yeah, and he's struggling with, he's tinkering with modes, isn't he? Go on, and let's have a, Alonso. Oh, so as Alonso's pitted and Albon too, Lewis has jumped them both and he's up into 8th now. Let's have a look at, go on, and let's do a compare and contrast. Lewis's pace, oh my goodness. You guys are on the Murray. So Lewis's last lap, a 1:37.2, yeah? George Russell, by comparison, a 1:36.9. Best lap, 1:36.4, but we want to do a light for light. So why is George lapping 2-3 tenths quicker than Lewis? If indeed Lewis is... Oh, the conspiracy theorists will be coming out here, Ray. Oh, are they tightening all the bolts on Lewis's car? I don't know. Byron, Lewis just playing GTA at this point, waiting for that Ferrari move. Easy though, Byron. I don't think that's in Lewis's vernacular, really, especially when it comes to George. And do you know what I mean? He wants to win races. He will always want to win races, will Lewis? That's just, he's a racer. What happened to Lewis? I don't know what happened to Lewis. I don't know what's going on with him. It's meant to be quicker, but again, remember there is Sainz on Charles Leclerc. He's going to be fuming. And again, conspiracy theorists and tinfoil hats. Why has he overtaken me again and I've got the speed? My setup is better than him. Where is the team orders telling this chap, the Monegasque in front of me, that I am quicker than him? That's exactly what Carlos Sainz would be saying. But again, this is one of the ones where Carlos can't expect any favours now, knowing that he's not going to be a Ferrari driver next year. He's going to have to make this move. You can see him even in his helmet. Carlos Sainz looks like he's fuming. Carlos Sainz, last of the late breakers. Let's go, Carlos Sainz. Last of the late breakers. Put some respect. Listen, all of the Carlos Sainz naysayers, put some respect on his name. Box from Max Verstappen's race engineer. Let's go. This race is hotting up nicely. Nah, that ain't how Lewis is built, bro. He won't kick rocks for you. Exactly that, Hassan. He's come to play, right? Victories. Although the argument is that if you're not competing for 25 points, that you kind of lose. That Lewis, nothing that he's culpable for, but you kind of lose an extra 10%. If it's 25%, 25 points even, and championships that you're competing for. Oof, oh yeah, Charles tentative on the brakes, isn't he? As Karan says that he might be struggling for tyre temps on the front ones. Oh, Charles, not looking good as we get the drive to survive Vista on Max Verstappen's. Oh, long stop on the right rear, longish, 2.9 seconds, uncharacteristically long for Charles, for Max Verstappen, but we'll take it. Charles doesn't have the minerals. Oh, Mohammed, this is going to be a conversation now. But is it the car, or is it my car is really going to the right when I'm braking? They are checking. He's got a problem, hasn't he? I don't think this is just Charles Leclerc. Oh my gosh. I can't continue, says Charles. If it stays like this is dangerous. Oh! He's got an issue. Charles Leclerc's not that bad. Even me, I mean, I'd sound like a genius, right, if I crack on. I look like an absolute Nostradamus of F1. But I think he's Carlos Sainz on one, George Russell. Let's go, Carlos. That Ferrari is quick, you know. That Ferrari, at least Carlos Sainz's one, looks really, really quick. Let's have a look at the lap times. Go on, then. Carlos Sainz setting purples, yeah? Let's go! Let's go! I'm here for that, Carlos Sainz Jr. Each and every single time. Put some respect on that chap's name. How dare you? Can Sainz catch Checo, says Monsieur. I mean, he's 2.6 away at the moment, right? Let's have a look. Well, we've got a race on our hands, but never. Again, you never want to back against the RB20. Not in 2024. But he's look at the time. Look, he's got pace in hand, hasn't he? Nearly a second quicker on that last lap. Holy smoke! Come on, Carlos Sainz. You mean put some respect on that chap's name? Max Verstappen on the radio. Can't hear him. Oof. 203 of you watching concurrently. Do me a favour and smash the like. Otherwise, the YouTube algorithm will think that I'm out here telling porkies, and we don't need that. Go on, let's get some visuals up, Cameron. Carlos Sainz goes wide a little bit. I assumed, oh, Carlos is locking up as well now. Oh, that's a replay before. I know that's Charles Leclerc, isn't it? Jeez. What is going on with Charles Leclerc's car? I mean, you know what? Do I riff on him? It's all right to be super quick, right? But you need more than that to win a championship. And I don't know, maybe I'm being harsh, and maybe it is his car, but I mean, it keeps. This is a recurring theme with Charles Leclerc these days. It keeps on happening. Byron Sainz called it in the media. I have more pace than the guys in front. No lies clearly told. Let's go, Carlos Sainz. But he should have just nailed it in quali, right? If this is the pace that he has, 1:37.4, is he being held? Let's have a look. What's the gap between... All right, quick cheeky roll call. Max Verstappen currently leading to Checo Perez. The gap between the two, 6.2. Again, a drift of Checo Perez, 2.7 seconds. Let's go, Carlos Sainz. Sets another back, 1:35. Jeez, they're exchanging purples, aren't they? Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz Jr. And they say that dude has no pace. That he's a strategy merchant. Bloody no, he's come back. He's a guy. Right, so look, let's give some flowers to Georgie Russell and Carlos Sainz Jr., yeah, because those two haven't come to play. They're coming to get 25 points each and every in 2024, and I'm here for it. Jomo says, if Carlos is Ferrari top driver at the end of the season, Cameron, you need to be tenacious to be a top F1. Jomo, but it's not like, if past his prologue, if you normalise even, okay, look, there were some DNSs and Charles had some issues in previous years, but he's running closer. I mean, if you're going off just pure pace alone, then do you know what I mean? Carlos shouldn't see which way Charles Leclerc goes, but when there's wins and 25 points on the table, a la Singapore last year, there is only one of those Ferrari drivers that appears to get it done with any sort of consistency, and his name, for the avoidance of doubt, is Carlos Sainz Jr. Put some respect on that geezer's name. Up, Oscar Piastri on the radio. His engineer is being a snitch and telling him that ahead, Carlos or Charles Leclerc even has brake issues, and Ted Kravitz confirms this, saying that Charles Leclerc is managing brake issues. So he's trying to manage it in real time by pressing buttons and managing the battery, but it feels like, and it looks like, it's a bit of a lost cause, right? As at now, for Charles Leclerc, he's all over the shop, much to the concern of JK, who's in the Scuderia Ferrari garage. JK being a massive car buff and a big Ferrari customer, bless him. I don't know if would I like to be at one of those. One day we'll get to one of those hospitality suites. One day, but I don't know, man. I do like to ingest the old the Grand Prix like this. Can anybody challenge Max Verstappen for the W? 40% of you say no or yes, even, and then 60% of you correctly say no. Well, let's wait. These things are all work in progress, eh? Moving target. There's lots of racing to be done. Go on then, let's have a look. Cheeky roll call. Verstappen leads Checo Perez. Gap between the two Red Bull drivers, 7.8 seconds. Carlos Sainz further 2.5. Bit disappointed in Carlos. Hoped he'd start making progress, inroads into that gap with one Checo Perez. Fourth, we've got George Russell, 3.2 seconds adrift of Carlos Sainz Jr. Leclerc, 1.2 seconds across, obviously struggling with his braking issues. Thereafter, Lando Norris in 6th, Piastri, Hamilton, Alonso, Zhou Guanyu, Tsunoda, Stroll, Kevin Magnussen up into 13th. Let's go after an early pit stop to tinker with a damaged front wing. Alex Albon in 14th. Ricciardo, Ocon, Bottas, Gasly, Hulkenberg and Logan Sargent. You guys can all see that. I don't even know why I'm reading it out at this stage because I've got the metrics up for you guys to read in real time. Chin Kimmy says, is Charles physically strong enough to be consistent in a race? Jim, you know, Chim, I don't think it's that. I genuinely don't think it's that. I mean, listen, today feels like it's anomalous and he's got an issue, so I shouldn't riff on him too hard. That can happen to each and every single one of them, but I just feel like he missed opportunities. I want to cite the clutch gene, but we haven't got proof positive of that just yet. But the big problem for Charles Leclerc, as far as I'm concerned, is that he just makes too many mistakes, right? At critical times. C, Imola as your exhibit A. C, Monaco every single year as your exhibit B. C, Paul Ricard, that famous no example as your exhibit C. Like, he just makes a lot of them, and there are others. All you need to do is Google on YouTube, or just jump on the YouTubes and Google Charles Leclerc crashes and mistakes. There's a gazillion compilations. I mean, from people that are making compilations of your mistakes. I mean, that's all that you need to know, eh? Monsieur, that's all that we can hope for now. No engine failure for Max. Oh, Sedan, murky territory there. I'm too much of a die-hard F1 fan to ever hope and pray to root nor bask in somebody else's downfall. I just can't do it, right? These guys are ultimately out there risking their lives for our own viewing entertainment. I can't do it. I can't. But genuinely, if you're talking about competitive racing and hopes for a non-Max Verstappen win, then probably that's the that's the only way. That's the only eventuality in that makes it happen. Macon, what's going on? Kyle and George says his battery's hot. Let me have a listen for this. You are super. Wow. Perez saying to his race engineer, shout, mate, you're super quiet. Tranquilo. Tranquilo. You need to be louder. Oh yeah, he's super quiet. I use the tyres a bit more, I think, is the shout from Checo Perez's race engineer. Use the tyres more. Checo can go a bit faster, chap. Go on then, let's have a look at these deltas. As Max Verstappen, oh my God, he's so consistent. Look at that. Best lap 135.1. Last lap 135.2. What's Sainz doing? 136. Okay, so he's 2.3 adrift of Checo Perez in second. Last lap of 136.0. He's dropped off, hasn't he? That Red Bull is just too bloody. Oh, wow. So Mercedes been told to increase lift and coast also. So then that means I think these guys might be struggling with cooling. And again, shout out to the Red Bull mechanics who helped Alpine with their cooling in free practice and qualify life. Alpine are in a massive state, aren't they? It's not looking good. Lest we forget the FI rejected Andretti's application on the grounds that they weren't going to be competitive. Yet and still. Oh, contradiction and hypocrisy are the murky waters that we swim in as F1 fans, right? It can't be helped. Monsieur says another gap to Max Verstappen is 10 seconds. He's Sunday drive, or it's not Sunday, it's Saturday, but it feels like a Sunday afternoon drive for Max Verstappen though. Put K-Mag's brain in Charles Leclerc's body and you've got a world champion. K-Mag he's quite savvy, isn't he, K-Mag? I have heard people talk. I know that Mr. Windsor rates him very highly, but I don't know. Oh, as we get Zach Brown on the radio saying that we think we've got a race. Hamilton looks very quick. Checo Perez on the radio again. All right, let's go. Do me a favour and smash a like if you could. It all helps. Joke, says Chim. Remco, max in tyre management mode. Yeah, it's a joke. 1 second faster than the rest of the field. He's just got time in hand, hasn't he? And this is right. I'm going to get frustrated now. This is the durable competitive advantage that I keep talking about, right? When these guys have so much time in hand over the rest of the field, they can start to do all this, develop next year's car, focus on the tyre management, focus on the efficiency of the car. You don't need to push the car. You can even start to turn the engine down, right? And so it makes it really, really hard for the rest of them to bridge that gap now, because Red Bull are just managing this time in hand. They're like they're doing a Fernando Alonso on the old deck chair, aren't they? I mean, what's the point? I mean, I say all that to say, never let somebody get too far out in front of you, right? Because then it just makes it so much harder to bridge that gap back. Max Verstappen, it gets super consistent from Max Verstappen. I mean, bloody Nora, look at that. 135.2, 135.2. So this is what Windsor was talking about when he looked at the FP2 times. And again, Mercedes fans around the world saw a quick time from Lewis Hamilton and thought the Mercedes were back. But the discerning guys, the proper racing minds, were scared about how consistently quick Max Verstappen was in terms of their racing. And then, moreover, Red Bull don't show their hand in FP2, right? They spend free practice focusing on their race simulation and how best to set up the car, and that's what you should be doing. Not smashing out like show off boasty laps to show the rest of the grid how quick you are, but nobody cares about that. Carl says Perez being faster than the field, says what exactly? They worried. Fernando Alonso even alluded to it when he was talking about the other 19 drivers. No, they're just competing for second place. My seat is broken, says Lewis. That's dangerous. Is this the seat that you made them change, Lewis? Is it broken because you made them change the position? I'm being very, very rude and cheeky. He's a second faster than Perez. Always, Kyle, look at that. All right, look. All right, so let's look at the best laps. So on their best laps, respectively, Max Verstappen has a half a second in hand over Checo Perez. On their last lap, 135.3 versus... Oh, my God, you're right. On their last laps, I feel like Checo Perez might have made a mistake there. Engine issues for Mercedes, said Ted Kravitz, and these guys are running really, really hot. It's always going to be an issue cooling around here. It has been historically like, wow, Carlos catching Checo. Let's go for that. That's what I want to see. 1.9. Not just yet, though, Michael. Not just yet. The delta between Carlos Sainz Jr. and Juan Checo Perez has been hovering in and around 2.3. He's just taken 0.3 out of him. Let's monitor it and see if that continues in the same vein. I'm here for it. Carl, didn't Checo say he's coming for Max this year? Well, which year hasn't Checo Perez said that, Carl? It's almost like Checo says that to motivate himself, but he doesn't believe that. He doesn't believe he's got a chance of beating Checo. I mean, there's a really good interview on F1 Nation where they're talking to Checo about things that he's done. He's gone and done the right things. I think he's got super fit in the off-season, and do you know what I mean? He's gone and got a sports psychologist to kind of convince him that he can do. Like, those are the things, I rate that. Those are the material steps that you want to do. Those are the actionable steps that you want to take. But yeah, and still you need to be, do you know what I mean? If you're not driving quickly enough, then all of that stuff kind of fades to black. German electronic problems, says Tigers Mundo. Cooling issues that they're managing, and I suppose that's borne out in their times, eh? They're kind of as Martin Brundle's talking about, you don't see the halo. That's interesting, right? That your vision kind of, your eyes and your brain is clever enough to kind of invisible out the halo. Right, cheeky roll call, top 5. Max Verstappen leads by 13.3 seconds to his teammate Checo Perez. Bonkers. The next best in Carlos Sainz Jr. is 15 seconds adrift. Bonkers. I'm speechless. Got 31 laps remaining. We're not even halfway. Go on then, peddlers. Let's have... Alright, look at this. I like to do a bit of cheeky maths. Max Verstappen versus the rest. We are 30... We're not even 30 laps in. Oh my God, we're as we were, guys. We're not even 30 laps in. And Max versus Carlos Sainz Jr., he's 16 seconds down the road. So, by my noddy maths, that's in excess of 0.5 a lap. Oh dear. Max Verstappen and Red Bull have gained on the rest of the field in the off-season. Testament to Adrian Newey's genius. Checo and Bottas. Failures prove that Rosberg's championship was the hardest in it. You, man, you know what? I hated one Nico Rosberg in 2016. I thought he was a proper fluke merchant, and he was very fortuitous. But they say that luck is where opportunity meets preparation. And in my old age, I've come to really, really respect that season from Nico Rosberg. Lest we forget, in the 3 seasons prior, Nico Rosberg had finished 20 points adrift of Lewis Hamilton, his teammate. Looking at Lewis, making adjustments on his steering wheel and running wide into turn 10. Go on, Lewis, get back on the track, chap. That's the same corner that Charles Leclerc struggled at. So Nico Rosberg in their first season finished 20 points adrift of Lewis Hamilton, their first season together. The next season finished circa 60 points adrift of Lewis Hamilton. And then the next season after that, another 60 points adrift of Lewis Hamilton in the championship. And then he went on to nail it. And again, listen, for the avoidance of doubt, luck is where opportunity meets preparation. Shout out to one Nico Rosberg. I can't hate him. Again, I'm not sure about how I feel about the chap as a person. I don't know if I want to go for a beer with him, but you've got to kind of when somebody takes all the measures, when somebody does everything that they can do within their control, extremis, 2 extremes, you've kind of got to rate it, right? You've kind of got to rate it. Right, let me have a look at something. I'm going to try and bring up as we are. Right, let's have a go. 248 of you watching could currently do me a favour and smash a like. If you could, please. Tigers Mundo knew he's an F1 god, absolutely. Tyre life is longer. Right, let's have a look. Sort out these eyes, man. I don't know why my eye keeps bloody watering. Probably these bright lights are too bright for both me and Charles Leclerc. Chim, all for your live coverage, Cam. Love your long form coverage, but your live race coverage is unmatched. Oh, Chim Kimmy, that means a lot, mate. That means a lot. Trying to add value here. I know there are other people in the space doing it and probably been doing it for longer. But my time, I'm trying to do a Nico Rosberg out here, Chim. That's where I am. I'm not going to get beat on industry, nor knowledge, nor being a long-term die-hard F1 fan, you know. I want to, in the end, Chim, I know I should be talking about the race, but there's not really much to talk about at the moment. I know in the end, I want to improve to where I can talk like Peter Windsor. Did you guys hear him correct me the other day? I'd done research to find out how many drivers in F1 history had won the championship at 40 or older. And I did the research, I bloody checked it, and it was only like 3 or 4. It was like Giuseppe Farina and Fangio, Ascari as well. They're all like in the 50s and 60s. Graham Hill, there were like 3 of them I counted. And then Windsor turned to me and goes, how old was Farina when he won the first championship in 1950? And I want to get to that level, that like god tier level of information just on hand, on tap. Please cover them on. Human, you know what? I would. Maybe I'll try it. But Human, my only issue is I wouldn't have much to contribute. I'm a proper F1 snob, me. I don't really watch any of the racing. I used to watch touring car back in the day, but not so much anymore. I'm really bad. But they say that you should go narrow and deep if you're trying to learn something, right? And that's I want to be an F1 maven, for whatever that's worth. Have I just screwed something up? Oh, here we go. Right, roll call. Max Verstappen, followed by Checo Perez, Sainz, George Russell, Charles Leclerc. Let's go. Go on then. Well, I'll see 2.4 is your gap between Checo Perez and and one Carlos Sainz, and that makes me sad, guys. I'm not even going to lie to you. That makes me really sad, because I'd hoped that Carlos Sainz had enough in hand to potentially bridge the gap to the second Red Bull driver, and he hasn't, sadly. But I digress. Right, let me just have a look at something. Right, let's have a look. Oh, best chance to get Sainz past Perez. Oh, they're going to do pit stops, aren't they? For another cheeky set of softs, potentially, if they can make them last 27. Oh. Crofty's just overruled me and said potentially it will be hard tyres. I need to get my visuals. Interestingly, you know, as I'm watching this race, I'm listening to Brundle and Co. But I've barely got visual. I'm just looking at the numbers and watching you guys. Ferrari, says Tigers Mundo, always has performance anxiety when the lights are on. You know, Tigers Mundo, I think you're onto something there. But I think Charles' performance anxiety is independent of Ferrari. Because look at Carlos. How comes they haven't got performance anxiety with Carlos? I feel like Carlos is going to beat Charles Leclerc, isn't he, this year? He's gonna. I hope you guys have all got Carlos in your fantasy F1 teams. Have I got him in there? No, I haven't. I'm telling lies. I think I've just got Max Verstappen because he's so expensive. Can Max get a Grand Slam? Of course he can. Look at that car. Look how easy it looks. Absolutely, Kareem. Monsieur Lewis is going hammer time now. Go on then, let's have a look. Thank you for the alerts, guys. I'm trying to juggle far too many balls. Is Lewis going hammer time really? 137.2. Yeah, he's picked it up a little bit. But he's still shy of George Russell. I mean, even his best lap is still shy of George Russell. Oh, that's concerning from Lewis's perspective. What happened to this? I set the car up for the race stuff. Hassan, you do that. Can respect you, fam. So many channels in the space. You've never sold in the spot. Yeah, Hassan, I love that. I love that. I'm trying to do it properly. Trying desperately to do it properly, and there's going to be prerequisite. I'm just going to try to get my Nico Rosberg on, you know. Not saying that these other bods are Lewis Hamilton, but not necessarily anyway. Shout out to my guy Tomo and Aldas. There are some serious Nasher quick stop F1, serious people in the space, but I don't know. Each and every single one brings something different, right? No, says Monsieur Vinny. Vasseur is slowly turning things around at Ferrari. Less mistakes at a team. Yeah, he's got them drilling. They're drilling, aren't they? They are absolutely drilling pit stops, etc., etc. And I don't hate that. Practice makes perfect and all that. Right. Okay, so Georgia just popped out from the pits, 2.9 pit stop. Don't hate that from Mercedes. Hopefully the 3 second plus pit stops from Mercedes are a thing of the past. Hopefully. Should be taking notes at this. I'm going to try and get a video out afterwards, a little cheeky summary video. But nothing much is happening, is it? Nothing much is happening. I mean, it was a fairly top-heavy start. There was rancor and friction between the Ferrari pairing. I suppose the story of the day thus far is Carlos Sainz. And conversely, Charles Leclerc's issues. As we get a cheeky vista at Valtteri Bottas's stop, you can just see issues coming on this Bottas stop. Oh my god, the left front, they struggle. Oh no, kickstake F1 Sauber struggling with the front left. How to get the jack back out. Come on, Sauber, sort out your live here. Tusha says, what happened to Charles last time I saw he was in PT? Everything, Tusha. In summary, he's struggling massively with front grip and lockups under braking. Similar, it feels like a similar issue to what he experienced last year, which again gives me pause for thought and consternation if Ferrari have said that they've kicked on, right? I thought you'd kicked on Ferrari yet, and still we're having these same issues that we experienced last year. I told them they should have had the push rod at the back and the pull rod at the front instead of gone pull. Listen, if Red Bull have hacked the system and have the cheat codes, then copy them. No, Ferrari want to run their own path, don't they? Tomo Wolfpack, Nasher, Windsor, the only other creators worth watching. Hassan, I appreciate you saying that. No shade, just facts. Yeah, Windsor Yeah. Decent content creators, those. Right, 233. Okay. Show Stroll and Joe on new decent overtake there. Nailed it. Macon, this is a pretty strong race. Race 1. Remember, this is the first of a lot of races. Macon, you're a sage, mate. I agree with you. It's not been a bad race. I'm just trying to think what. It's not been one for the ages though, Macon. Not just yet. No track limit issues. Go on and let me have a cheeky. I can pull that up. Again, remember this broadcast is brought to you by Multiviewer. Download the app if you want all this. If you want to view all this stuff alongside each and every single Grand Prix. Let's have a look. See track infringements. Okay, so Yuki Tsunoda's got 2 violations. Lando Norris has a single track infringement, and that was on lap 3, turn 15. Charles Leclerc has 1. That was on lap 4, turn 10. That was when he outbraked himself, wasn't it? And Lewis Hamilton also has 1 track infringement. That was on lap 27 at turn 10. Let's go. Adding value. Smash the light for Cameron F1. May make it spicy at the end. Yeah, well, interesting that Russell pitted for new hards. Yeah, it will make it interesting at the end. Go on, let's see. We've got tyre offsets. Okay, let's have a gander, Cameron. Let's have a gander. Currently on hards. I don't think those. Okay, so George Russell. Looking at the landscape here, you guys can't see this. I should kind of bring it across, but I'm scared of getting DMCA'd. Look, so George Russell and Norris and Lewis are the only people of the top 10 who have stopped for another set of tyres, each of whom are on hards. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying there. All right, look, so George Russell, but it's okay, so George is trying to pull the undercut on the likes of Piastri and Leclerc who are in front of him. Those guys are going to come in more than likely. They need to go long on their second stint because they're planning to pit and come out on softs, being Verstappen all the way down to Piastri. Okay, so we have a tyre offset, hence why they've come in early for the undercut, because those lot on hards. Up. Charles Leclerc in the pits. He's gone for a halfway house. Charles Leclerc should have pitted earlier for hards. He's gone on hards, hasn't he? So again, 23 laps remaining. Those hards can... Oh, Ferrari, man. I feel like Ferrari have botched Charles Leclerc here. But hey, they've kind of done a... They're in between, aren't they? Hards can go much longer than 23 laps, even on a track as hot and as temperamental as Bahrain. Up. Okay. Piastri on Hamilton. Oh my god. Oh my gosh! But Oscar's gone wide and nearly loses it. Massive oversteer moment. Oh, Oscar on the brand new tyres struggles. Lewis goes through. Let's go. Oh yeah, Brundle states that his tyres weren't warmed up yet, were they, properly? I did enjoy that. That was tasty. That was a bit tasty from Oscar and Lewis. I did enjoy that. Drummer says Ricciardo's going to lose to Yuki this season. Maybe. Then he should hang up his... Oh, Joe, I don't know about that yet. Just yet. Might be a bit premature. Hassan's because the mediums suck. Yeah, well... They're going to be quite quick initially. They'll fall off quickly, but if you've only got like 14, 15 laps to do, then you've got a pace differential, right? Ham and Oscar, brilliant. Loved it, mate. And I'm a bit behind you guys, so bear with me. Hassan says, let's go. Yeah, love that from... I didn't hate that from Lewis there. The old sage. Still life left in him. Yeah, Carlos Sainz 2.2. I'm just seeing it, mate. Don't hate that. You see, Ferrari, let's not criticise them when they're not criticism worthy. They haven't been bad today, at least not in the hands of Carlos Sainz Jr. Let's look where he comes out. He's got some nice clean air. Comes out, does Carlos Sainz Jr. Right back in third. He's going to be on the... Put some respect on Carlos Sainz Jr.'s name right now, because this drive's been decent. And again, I suppose you want to argue, where would Charles be but for his issues? And maybe even Charles has driven quite well. As well, 22 laps remaining. Currently, your race leader, Max Verstappen, 18.9 seconds down the road is one Sergio Checo Perez, followed by Carlos Sainz Jr. What's the delta between? Oh, go on then. Let's have a look. I want to see the interval. Okay, true. All right, so the top two, the Red Bulls are going long. The only two remaining of your top five yet to stop for a third time. So they're going to be going long and then going to have super speed. Might get a bit interesting at the end. I'm keen to see. All right, 25 seconds is the gap between Checo Perez and Carlos Sainz Jr. I want to see how long are the pit stops taking. Must be about 22 seconds around here, surely. So Carlos Sainz needs to get a wriggle on at the moment if he's going to stand a chance of pulling the undercut on Checo Perez as Perez is in the pit. Come on! Come on, Carlos, get moving! No! No! He's not going to make it, is he? 1.6. Come on, Carlos, quick! No. Come on, Carlos. Oh, no, he's not going to make it. Shoot. Damn it. Go on then, Carlos. You fancy an overtaking manoeuvre on the Mexican Minister of Defence? Whilst your tyres are warm and his tyre is... He's not quick enough, is he? 1.7 seconds is the delta. We can't. It's a shame, that. It's a crying shame. It's upset me a little bit, that has. I thought Carlos Sainz was going to... That's a good shout from Crofty. The tyre deg may be an issue still. 21 laps on the soft tyres should be okay. Let's remember the first stint was anywhere between 14 and 20 laps. And Checo's going to have to do 20 on those. Maybe it might get a bit... You guys might be right. Might get a bit techie towards the end here. It might just. Jimmy James says, boring race, to be honest. Listen, Jimmy, I tell you what. I don't think it's been boring. It's been not enthralling, but absorbing, right? I'm keen to... There is still, for me, the key thing of a good race is there intrigue towards the end. And whilst for first place, as Max Verstappen pits, that's 2.2 from Max Verstappen. Let's go. Easy money. But whilst it might not be techie for the first position, you've still got a bit of friction and uncertainty as to what's going to happen with Checo, Perez and Sainz, right? George Russell 2's in the running, not too far adrift. Like there's intrigue here through to the end of the race. There's a reason why to keep watching, you know? Right. Charles Leclerc says, I think we can forget about driving now. Bloody, I mean, like, what? I think we can forget about driving. I do not understand what Charles Leclerc means with that radio message. I do not. Twitch says, Max going to soft gamer. Yeah, he's got it in hand. Max is nailing it. Red Bull going to the softs. Why? Because they did a long middle stint, Vinny. And softs, some say, can go up to 21 laps. So Sainz, I think they can, if they're careful with those tyres, I think they can do 20 laps easy. And particularly Max doesn't need to push, does he? So can bring in the tyres nice and smooth and not push them too much. And, you know, he'll be all right, will Max in particular. Checo might be a little bit differently, although Checo's tyre management isn't bad, is he? So understeery is the Mexican Minister of Defence. Bit of an early stop by Max. I just know this. I don't think so, you know. I don't think so. I think those soft tyres are good for 20 laps. Especially, I think we've got to remember, yeah, that... remember that, okay, so some of them are doing 14 laps at the start, but the ambience and track temperature has changed, right? It's late at night there, and so it'll be cooler. The softs will go for longer than 14. I think 14 to 18 laps was the initial forecast. Now, though, because it's cooler, they'll go for longer. I reckon Max will... I think Checo will be all right as well, to be fair. Right, let's have a look at Lewis. Let's go. Lewis for 7th on Fernando Alonso. That's a double overtake of Lewis. Let's go. Lewis Evangelist around the world can celebrate another Lewis Hamilton overtaking manoeuvre, but he's only in 7th. Concerning that. Let's have a look at his times. 1:34.9 on the last lap. Okay, so that's quicker. Oh, so all right. So Lewis is getting a move on now. 1:34.9. That's his fastest lap of the race, and half a second quicker than one George Russell. But again, he's got 5 seconds to catch up Lando Norris. It's not a good look, you know. I'm not loving this as a Lewis Hamilton fan. Feels a bit rogue, doesn't it? Jim, add tyre info to the graphics. You know what, Jim? Go on then. Since you've said, I will try. Right, let me do it. Got to be careful here, though. Right, let's do it. There we go. All right, you got your lot. I need to sort this out though, because I'm scared of F1 killing me. Can Leclerc overtake Russell? Probably not, to be fair. Although they've got the tyre offset, haven't they? All right, so Leclerc is on 5-lap old hard tyres, and George Russell's on 8-lap old hard tyres. But I think those tyres will last. 1.5 seconds is the delta between George Russell and Charles Leclerc. So we've got some racing to do. Carlos Sainz, 2.1 seconds adrift of Checo Perez. Looking down the grid, Hulkenberg expects some overtaking on Yuki Tsunoda, potentially for 13th position. 2.3 seconds adrift of Danny Rick is Alex Albon. But they all feel quite like evenly spaced out, right? So maybe you get some racing, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Interesting, intriguing race though, this first one. Big Evil Dutchy Chimp, thanks. Wow, I know it's decent, isn't it? Those stats. Bear with me on the stats. Again, shout out to the sponsor of the broadcast, Multiviewer. If you like all this sort of stuff, you just need an F1 TV account. Purchase that and then download Multiviewer, and it kind of, this interface sits atop of that, and it's genius. Shout out to those guys. Well, I've got to give them props massively. Big Evil Dutchy, sirs. Lewis is the 3rd Brit in the race. Not a good thing. Oh my God. 132. I think you're talking about. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Max Verstappen car. Just taking the mick, isn't he? Just taking the mick. Mode 5, he's told to go and do the fastest lap. Max is just having a drop. Oh my God. As Russell says, these guys are really fast. What happened to Mercedes' speed? Where's it all gone? He's struggling, is it? Oh, Charles Leclerc is going to have Charles Leclerc is catching George Russell for 4th. Again, maybe he does put those fresher hard tyres to use. You can see, oh my God, he's there. Yeah, Charles Leclerc. All of a sudden, Charles Leclerc's car's working. Oh my gosh, Max Verstappen on the pit on the radio says, do let me know if somebody goes for fastest lap so I can do it over again. It's ridiculous. He's just been on a conference. Carl says it's a joke, like so easy. How calm and cool does Max sound in this circumstance? And I'll never forget Brazil 2021 when Lewis was charging. Hearing Max over the radio, and again, that's massive pressure, right? But Max just sounded like he was on a Sunday morning walk with the dog. A different type of ice flows through that chap's veins. And again, if you're talking about the next chap that's going to beat him, they're going to need stuff. They're going to need fortune and difference and commitment. I'm telling you, it's techie. Kitty Super says, seems like the Mercs are holding back. These guys are fast, mate, says Lewis. I thought it was George, you know, Macon. That I might have missed it up. I'll defer to you, Macon. I did see the message though. Max has been on the radio. Kidney Super says, seems like the Mercs are holding station in terms of pace. Russell falling slightly back from the Ferraris. Hamilton slightly forward compared to the McLarens. Yeah, it's midfield settings for Mercedes fans all over the world, and I don't like that. I'll be honest. Do I not like that? As we get the visual of Fernando Alonso pitting, let's see how that pit stop goes. Quick. Oh no, not quick. Above 3 seconds, I think, for Fernando Alonso. Oh, new hards. Oh my gosh, Alonso's going to come out behind. Oh yeah, he's going to come out behind Stroll, who of course is yet to pit. Come on, Cameron. Tigers Monday, Kimi Antonelli. We're going to have that conversation. He looked a bit handy today, didn't he? I cannot lie. He did look a bit handy. He's drinking his tea. Is Max? Nice crap, yeah. He does look like it's all easy for him. It's just all like Do you know what I mean? He's just got his pipe and his slippers on, and it's just like, man. But no, Kimi Antonelli looked fairly handy, even though he didn't have the car in that Prema. Prema don't tend to go well around the Sakir circuit, so that's nothing new. But they had issues. Ollie Behrman was down on engine speed and all this, or engine power even. Prema weren't great, but Kimi Antonelli, there were a couple overtakes. I tend to do this, if I'm looking at greats and how good they might be. You know, and you look at moments, and there was a moment there where he overtook Ollie Behrman. I was like, oof, that looked handy. I don't know what future greatness looks like, but that might be it if I'm drinking from the Andrea Kimi Antonelli cup of copium. Maybe Mercedes need to take some risks. They're operating far too safe, says Human. Oh, I don't know. It's a damning post-mortem. Toto looks, oh my gosh, Toto looks a bit depressed, doesn't he? To say the least. No bueno. No bueno. Go on, let's have a look at the speed trap. I always like looking at the speed trap to see who's quickest. Lewis Hamilton in Sector 1 quickest, 239 kilometers per hour. That Mercedes is quick in a straight line. It seems like what Mercedes have done have taken some downforce off the car, right, to facilitate that car being quick in a straight line. In Sector 2, Piastri's quickest, 270 kilometers per hour, followed by Charles Norris, both on 267, Georgie Russell on 265. So the Mercedes is quick in a straight line. Over the finish line, Georgie Russell, 293 kilometers per hour, followed by K-Mag, and then Lewis, 290 kilometers per hour. But not on the speed trap. That's really weird. Karan Chandok says that, asserts correctly that Charles Leclerc hasn't complained about the brakes for a while. See, that seems to sort it. That circumstance, that problem that he was experiencing earlier on in the race, seems to have rectified itself, right? As Charles Leclerc, 0.8 is the difference. Charles Leclerc has DRS on George Russell. All eyes will be on that gap. Yeah, he's gapping, isn't he? All of a sudden, with 14 laps remaining, Charles Leclerc's car's woken up. And so has its driver. Like, what? It's a bit late now, though, isn't it? Like, Dinora. Okay. So we've got 14 laps remaining of this, a 57-lap race, the first of the 2024 season. It's been intriguing to see these cars go 57 laps in race trim. Science says around this lap, the hard should be faster than... Okay. Science told now that the hard should start to become quicker than the stuff. Okay, so let's look on the delta between Carlos Sainz Jr. and Checo Perez. That's what we're looking at now, eh? Hassan, Toto can go and kick rocks. I know there's a brooding feeling of bad sentiment among Sir Lewis Hamilton fans towards Mercedes and Toto Wolff. People don't trust him. Right, let's have a look. Right, Charles Leclerc closing in on one, George Russell. Ooh, careful, Charles, not from so far back, mate. Looks like he's done a veering one just to make it known that he's there, to try and off-put George Russell into a cheeky lockup or a run wide. You know, one of those, what? Yeah, he's doing it. He's on it now. All of a sudden, he's woken up. 0.6 of the delta between the two as Max Verstappen goes purple again on a 132.6. Holy smoke. Look at that. That's 2 seconds faster than anyone else in the field. What are we doing? 2 seconds faster than Checo Perez. 132.6. I mean, nah, mate. All right. All eyes on the gap between Carlos Sainz Jr. and Checo Perez, as his engineers have told him that he's good to go and attack the second Red Bull driver. Well, do you know what I mean? Like, flipping Nora. You may as well, mate, if he's 2 seconds adrift of his teammate. Max Verstappen's just out there entertaining himself, setting faster laps. Like, bloody... What's the point? I just... Beggars belief, man. Beggars belief. Beaky Boy says, Max being ominous as usual. Get ready to hear the Dutch national anthem 24 times this year. That's what George Russell said last year, and he wanted to times it by 2, didn't he? I mean, for the avoidance of doubt, look at this. 44 of the last 66. 19 of the last 22 races. That's the current lick that Max Verstappen is winning races at, and I don't hate it, man. He deserves it. He's not come to play. The diff between Carlos Sainz Jr. and Checo Perez, 3.3 seconds. All right. Chill out, Carlos. You got 12 laps remaining, mate. You need to make it work. I don't think that engineer was right in his assessment, though. I don't think that Carlos Sainz has time in hand, not just yet over Checo Perez. Their last laps, remember, 134.5. Sainz. Oh, George. George Russell goes wide. Potentially, he would have to give that place anyway, right? You can't be offline, off track, and then defend. Got to keep on track. Charles Leclerc and Brundle makes the point that that's the problem for George Russell when you've got to start looking in your mirrors. You've got that pressure, right? And that's what Charles was doing. Very Schumacher-esque, the way Charles was going offline there and making himself big in George Russell's wing mirrors. And there you go, you get the lockup. A mistake. That looks like the mistake that he made in Singapore, doesn't it? Very similar from George Russell. Very, very similar lockup. Apparently, the man from Kingsley, Norfolk, isn't impervious to making a cheeky mistake either, notwithstanding all the credit that I've been giving him for turning up and being ready. Right, all eyes on Carlos Sainz and Checo Perez 3.4. No tyre offset to be gained from Carlos Sainz here. Oh well. George has lots to learn. Again, a cheeky unforced error, right? Singapore settings. Max is like that ghost car, says Hassan, when you're trying to get the gold trophy on Gran Turismo. Mate, a Super A license. Super license? I can't remember the terminology. The top one on Gran Turismo. International A. And then there was another one, wasn't there? Gold on International A or Super license. That took me ages to get all of those. But I did get them all. The top ones. No bronzes for Cameron F1. Right, let's have a go. 132.6. Lewis. All right, Lewis is absolutely trying to pick up the pace. Trying. But it's a little bit too late. Similar to Charles Leclerc, right? Too little, too late is the story for Charles and Lewis. Kidding, Super, yeah. S license, yeah. That was it, Hassan. Kinney Super, those wicked fast ghost cars give me PTSD. They were rapid, weren't they, in Gran Turismo? Good memories, though. Laughing my ass off 100%. Yeah, I needed to get all of them. It took me ages, it took me days, but I need to get all of them. Kyrie says, I thought the same, Cam. Oh. Too little, too bloody late, man. But I digress. Do me a favour, smash the like if you haven't done already. And we are 10 laps remaining from having our first Grand Prix in the books. Max Verstappen just did the 132. Look at that. That tells you how much Max has in hand, right? Just turned the engines up, did the 132.6, and now has turned them down and is trundling around at the same time as everybody else. 134.3. So in effect, what we're saying then is that Max is just sandbagging at this point, right? Managing temps and managing engine modes. He's turned down his engines and he's just lapping at the same as quick as Checo Perez. The extent of the dominance, eh? Go on then. So we've got some track limits. Let me have a cheeky look at those. Who's got track limits? Yuki Tsunoda has track limits. Oh, Lewis has got another track limit, turn 47. So Lewis is currently on 2. So Lewis had a track limit warning at turn 4 on lap 37. Maybe they fix Charles' technical issue. I don't know, just guessing. Sometimes these issues tend to fix themselves. You remember 2007 when Lewis had that issue with his seamless shift all of a sudden, right? It ultimately lost in the championship, but his car just wouldn't change. It was almost like he'd lost power and lost the ability to change. And all of a sudden he flicked a couple switches and then it came back and he cracked on. But 2007, together with the China failing to pit, that ultimately cost Lewis Hamilton the championship, I think, in my humble opinion. But sometimes these are complicated machines, right? And sometimes they fix themselves. Maybe Charles fits the technical issue. So I read that. Lewis can beat George. Go on then, let's have a look at the Delta. I doubt it very much. I doubt it. What's the Delta currently? So the interval, 6 seconds with 8 laps remaining. He'll have to go some. And ultimately, Lewis's tyres are only 2 laps older, 2 laps younger even than I think that's a stretch. I think that's a bit of a stretch, to be honest. All eyes on Carlos. Carlos Sainz is losing time to Checo Perez. Reverse deg is what that Red Bull is experiencing. And again, remember there's an offset, right? As the tyres start to deg, that's offset by the reduced fuel loads. And again, Red Bull have their system set up, their car set up to where they can just take advantage of that massively. Reverse deg, I think they call that. F1 competition has been weighed, you have been measured, and you have been found wanting goal. Tigers Mundo. Oh, no, that's damning. A damning assessment there, Tigers Mundo. But I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. There we go. Crofty gives perfect vocab to the ending. There is a feeling of inevitability about this race, and as we are 8 laps remaining, Max Verstappen has this wrapped up, right? Just trundling around. Sunday afternoon drive for him. 19 seconds adrift of his teammate in second place. It's all this is the Max Verstappen show. It is his F1 world, and we are mere pawns living in it until further notice. Very, very somber this is as far, you know, testing and free practice, the Lewis Hamilton glory run, they all gave us a bit of hope, right? We all began fans of competitive racing in F1. That gave us hope and optimism, only for the F1 gods to rip it back from underneath us. It's sad. It is quite sad. I'm going to be honest with you. It is quite sad, but you know what? We move. We'll get there. We'll get there. The Max Verstappen dynasty cannot last forever. We gotta. Patience is a virtue, right? Do me a favour and smash the like, guys, as we are rounding third base on this stream. Jay Byrne, why has wages been the mainstream narrative? Please educate. Where's Jay? I can't see Jay's. Human wages are not part of the cost cap. Okay, so wages. Wages are a part of the cost cap, but it depends. I think so. Driver salaries don't count, and I think something like your top 3 highest paid salaries in the team, they don't count as well. So Lewis's salary won't count. George's salary won't count. Toto's salary won't count towards the cost cap, as an example. I think it's like the top 3 or 4 highest paid people. They don't count towards the salary cap. Tigers Mundo, 10 years of Max run would be not Tigers Mundo. I'm guessing that you're a Max fan out here. And he said that he doesn't even want to race that long, does he? When talking about 8 championships, he's like, it's not something I'm invested in, if I'm honest, said Max Verstappen. He doesn't need it. Said that he wants to have a life outside of F1, racing other series. It's quite like-minded with Fernando Alonso is Max Verstappen when you break it down. They're very similar like that. Jomo, I've gone to the pub. Oh, I've left the pub, gone to Tesco on my way home. Good game, Max. Jomo, you're on the money. And this is the problem that F1 faces, right? How, if this ensues for another 23 races through this season, how do you keep fans engaged? How? Kyle, maybe it's just time to learn the Dutch now. Kyle, you're not even wrong, mate. Maybe it is time. I probably know it off by heart already, the melody. Mate, like this is proper dominance, eh? This will be his 4th one, lest we forget. When you hear, there's a stat that I heard that this is his 100 and so Charles Leclerc. Driver swap, says Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki's not having it. Yuki doesn't want to swap with 5 laps remaining. Why am I swapping with Danny Rick? Sack that off. Yuki's not going to swap at all. Look, in every sport there are dynasties, right? And the tenure varies. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough as this. Another 24 races of this, and this might be a difficult swallow for millions and millions. In the words of The Rock, F1 fans, reverse grid will keep us a gay. You men, they won't do it. There's a very famous clip of these guys, Lewis and Seb, talking about reverse grid, and they're like, rubbish, won't do it. Don't know what they're on about. Why are you doing reverse grids? I wouldn't be averse to it. It would provide an additional reason to watch, right? Oh, Ricardo's pushing for a switcheroo. Ricardo's like, I don't need to say anything. Like, pull the switch, please. So then Yuki refused. Yeah, I don't blame him. They're going to have okay, so now we've got plot lines, haven't we? Right, the gap between Yuki... Oh, no, Ricardo's done it. They've done it. He refused initially, and that, yeah, there we go. Oh, my gosh. All right, let's get a cheeky vote. Driver of the day. Driver of the day. You guys can tell me. And then we're going to do driver ratings in the video later on today. Don't know how, though. I might have to just talk to them all to get them up on screen, but I'm too much of a technical noob. Driver of the day. Right. Science. Who's your driver of the day? Checo. Checo's in for a good shot. Go on then. You guys let me know who your driver of the day is. Because I'm keen. Macon agreed. Let me see what Macon said. I missed it. Sorry guys, I'm a reverse grid. Yeah, I mean, if you guys watched F2, the reverse grid, they only reversed the top 10 qualifiers, right? And it works quite well for if you're invested in action and overtaking and racing. Thanks guys, I appreciate it. Oh my gosh, Yuki Tsunoda being a bit sarcastic over the radio. Fair play. Fair play. Perfect equals max, says Tigers Monday. Tigers Monday, I'm getting a bit of partisanship, mate. I'm hearing some bias. Not to say that, yeah, he has been pitch perfect. Adrian New is the driver of the day, says Chimkimi. And that's the debate. You know, have you heard people talking about that? Christian Horner's come out and said a couple of different things that almost taking away some of the credit from Adrian New and giving it to some of the aero guys that he works with, saying something to the effect even of it's not just Adrian. We've got a big aero team, and those guys do as much of the heavy lifting, if not more. Versus Adrian. Why swap Yuki? It's not too late for points. So Michael, I think he was quicker, right? And they're saying, I mean, look at that. Well, don't speak too soon. If Danny Rick can get, I suppose, to be fair, they're out the points, but whatever. They're in 13th. But I mean, if Danny Rick can pull a move, it looks good for the sponsors, right? If Danny Rick pulls the move on K-Mag. I think that's the rationale behind it. Do me a favour, guys, and smash the like. Por favor, Chim gimme facts. Kaori. We could vote Checo, ensuring he finishes P2 in that car. You don't want to jinx it, do you? Macon. Interesting. Not intestinal. I love that Macon. It's been intriguing. It's simmered right. Without ever coming to the boil, it has simmered this race. Huh. As we are 2 laps remaining of the Bahrain Grand Prix. I've enjoyed it still. I've enjoyed getting back on the stream horse and dialoguing with you guys, riffing, trying to figure out these narratives in real time, you know. It's been emotional. I should have got the bloody track map out. Here's how I'm a noob. And Yuki says, oh my gosh, Yuki's fuming, isn't he? He's actually spitting fire, is Yuki. You gotta tell him to speed up. Oh, just heard. Oh my god! I've just heard Yuki. I've just heard the command. Drivers swap. Drivers swap. What's Checo Perez saying? Radio message from Checo. Who's saying engine braking? It sounds like they're being ordered to manage cooling. Danny Rick radio message. Oh, these are the older ones. Huh. Alright. 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 Alex Albon is complaining about something, as is Valtteri Bottas. Everybody's getting their moan out, eh? Getting their moan on as we round third base in this, the first race of the 2024 championship, the Bahrain Grand Prix at the Bahrain International Circuit, Sakhir. Let's have a look what's going on here. All right, so Danny Rick is, oh my gosh, Danny Rick's trying to have a nibble at K-Mag, as is his teammate trying to have a nibble back at him. Got a point to prove, as Yuki Tsunoda. He wants to show that they shouldn't have effected team orders and they should have let him. It's almost like Tsunoda. Tsunoda looks closer. Oh my gosh, Yuki's trying to show them with that DRS that they shouldn't have let it, right? Got a bee in his bonnet. Going to be interesting to see the demeanour of the two Alpha Tauri drivers. I know it's not called Alpha Tauri anymore, but I'm still calling it that because I want to. So it's Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren. Yeah, they are going to, but that's a really good observation there, Big Evil. They're basically 2 by 2 going down, aren't they? That's interesting, but also not very. You kind of want it mixed a little bit more, eh? As Max Verstappen embarks on his final lap of the Grand Prix, he's just had this nailed, hasn't he? I mean, it's been all very easy for Max Verstappen. Exactly what many F1 aficionados feared it would become. A procession of a Grand Prix, and potentially, if you're going to extrapolate this over the remaining 23 races, potentially a procession of a championship. And again, I suppose what's sad in and of all this is that the rest are quite close to Checo Perez. It's only in the hands of Max Verstappen that this car is just like in another world. And again, don't let people tell you that, yeah, Max Verstappen's only brilliant because it's a rocket ship and all this. That's not it. That's just nonsense. People that talk like that to that point don't know what they're looking at, do they? Let's be honest. Because proof positive of that is the fact that Checo Perez is lapping 2 seconds shy of Max Verstappen's quickest lap. He's not even close. 22 seconds down the road in a 57 lap race. That, by my noddy maths, is half a second per lap. What are we doing here, peddlers? What are we doing here? Macon, you're a legend, sir. Thank you so much for watching the stream. I'm going to go another couple of seconds. There we go. Max Verstappen's nailed it with ease. 20 plus seconds in hand. Is David Croft copying? I can hear David Croft just repeating what I'm saying in my ear. I suppose that might mean that I'm doing something well. Big Evil says they should have let Danny Rick pass 2 rounds ago. Yeah, I don't hate that. Kidney Super says, yeah, I wouldn't put Merck and Titan in the same sentence. Yeah, you can't, can you? Louis says it's over. It looks like another Max Verstappen year. The gap between Max and Checo always makes you wonder, is Max that good or is Checo that bad? Well, we know the answer to that already, Boogie Boy. Checo's not bad. I suppose you've got a conversation to have around handling dynamic and whether it suits Checo Perez less with his understeery, fingertippy style than it does Max Verstappen's ability to leverage the tight / V line. Like, driver of the day, no one. Oh my gosh, really professional drive, says GP. Simply lovely, says Mr. Verstappen, and that's as good a point as any to end it on. Oh, that's very foreboding, very ominous from Mr. Max Verstappen. Dominant display. In my humble opinion, driver of the day by miles. I couldn't give it to anybody else. Oh, science was really good, to be fair, as well. But I mean, sometimes when you sometimes when you win that easy, fans have a tendency to overlook you because it's boring. But he was supreme, wasn't he? I mean, it was calm for him. And Crofty says there's clearly been a number of distractions. I'm going to go and make a video on that in a minute, actually, this Christian Horner stuff, because it ensues, doesn't it? This victory should overtype the Christian Horner distractions and the allegations and the leaked Google Drive and all that stuff. But mainstream news, because Max Verstappen is so dominant and there's no new news story there, right? Because of that, tomorrow morning's newspapers, the headlines on the front pages is Christian Horner thanks Checo Perez for a dominant 1-2. What the story tomorrow morning is going to be Christian Horner walking with his wife Jerry Horner to the circuit, right? That's going to be the story. The rest of the guys say Carlos Sainz driver of the day. Put that in your pipe, Charles Leclerc, and smoke it. 20 quick lessons off. Good job, RB. Red Bull are incredible, man. They're the consummate champions, and I don't hate them for it. I can't. It's excellent, consistent, and enduring excellence, and I don't hate it. It's up to the rest of them to catch them up. Right, guys, I'm going to love and leave you. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for watching. Thank you for enduring my ramblings. I'm going to try and get another video out at some point later on today, summarising the Grand Prix, maybe. His 4th Grand Slam, says Kareem. Big Evil Dut says, I'm so happy for Carlos. Got kicked in his teeth by Ferrari and ended on the podium. And Leclerc is not exactly. He's going to be the best of the rest. Shot. Carlos Sainz Jr. apparently at the current... at the time of writing, and I'm here for it, putting Charles Leclerc under manners. Although, caveat that with this, Charles Leclerc did have a problem for the vast majority of the Grand Prix. I'm going to go and run. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys to the moon and back each and every single time. You guys have been legends for enduring and putting up with my F1 ramblings. Vinny, oh, thank you so much, Vinny. I appreciate you, man. Like, we will continue the discourse actively and enthusiastically in the comments, I'm sure. You guys have been legends. Thank you so much. I'm going to run away now and be a bit of a father and a dad, or try to be. Back later on with a video, I hope, if not tomorrow with news. As always, remember to look but never stare. See you next time.